you have a favorite sport? Maybe soccer, baseball, football? It doesn't really matter. If you're anything like me, your life revolved around that sport. I started playing soccer when I was just 4 years old, and at first it was just something I enjoyed doing. But as I got older, I started playing for better teams and in more competitive leagues. I even played for a traveling team where we went all the way up from Michigan to Georgia, Carolinas, you named it. You name it, I probably played there. Now, this was very stressful for my parents because obviously they'd had to drive me all around, and it just wasted so much of their own time. I love soccer and it's been the biggest part of my life, and since it's been such a huge influence on my life, I know just about all the rules and regulations when it comes to the game. FIFA is the organization that manages all the leagues and teams around the world and makes a decision on if they're going to change anything or add any new rules to the game. A few years ago, FIFA decided to use something called goal line technology. This is where there's sensors inside the ball and along the insides of the goalpost and goal line. The primary purpose of this technology is to alert the referee and the officials when the ball has completely crossed the goal line. This technology proved to be very beneficial right away because if you've ever watched soccer in the past, you may have seen where the ball deflects off a player or the post, and it has such a weird spin on the ball. When it hits the ground, it bounces back out of the goal. Before this technology, it was just up to the ref to make a decision whether or not to allow the goal or just to award a goal kick. And all the fans, coaches, players waiting anxiously, obviously somebody was going to be upset with the decision. And this technology completely eliminated this problem right away. This is the first time FIFA has agreed to use any kind of technology in the games. One of the biggest debates today is if FIFA should incorporate more technology. One of the biggest topics about it is using instant replay. Personally, I disagree with using instant replay in soccer because it just takes away from the game. Soccer is one of the few sports where the clock never stops for a foul or injury or whatever. It just keeps going. When you stop the game, a lot of times like in football or basketball, it just kills all the momentum that the team might have. People also argue that instant replay will help the refs and the officials make the right decision in a questionable situation. Now, that makes sense, but how can you just stop the game every time somebody complains about a call? Soccer doesn't have any timeouts, challenges, or 2-minute warnings, and that's just something that makes it interesting. I disagree, again, with the replay being used in soccer because players are already criticized for flopping and diving and faking injuries. And if you add instant replay, that's just going to make it easier for the players to complain, saying, hey, I got touched, and ask the ref to go look at it again and see that he was actually hit. There's one thing I do agree with using the replay. In situations where a player is red carded and ejected from the game, not only is the team down a player the rest of the game, but the player also faces further suspension. In one instance, in the 2014 World Cup, a Uruguay player named Luis Suarez got into an altercation with an opposing player and was issued a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. The FIFA officials used the replays of the tapes to look at it again and actually notice that Luis Suarez had actually bitten a player on the shoulder. Now, FIFA wanted to make the right call and figure out the right punishment for him, so they all met up and made the decision to suspend him for the rest of the tournament and ban him for 4 months from the next season, which means he couldn't come to any of the games, practices, or any facilities associated with his club team. There are also many other things that FIFA is debating whether or not to incorporate into the game, but instant replay is something I completely disagree with. It's just going to take away from the game and change it entirely.